Welcome everyone, Alpha 19. Oh, what a beautiful beast it is. So I thought, after a very hectic weekend, I thought let's slow down a little bit. Let's look at a little bit of the new weapons. And this time I wanted to have a look at not the AK-47, we've seen that one before, but rather I wanted to show the new tactical assault rifle and a little bit contrast it with the AK-47, and I'll see a little bit what the statistics are, what mods it can take, and sort of how to use it effectively. So this is the new model. And this is how it looks wielded by an almost naked person. I probably should have put on a little bit of clothes while making this video, but no, too late now. It looks like sort of I'm out and about in my underwear, and I got accosted by some zombies. Alright, maybe this is a little bit better, then at least got some clothes on. So this is how the tactical assault rifle looks. It's actually quite a nice model, I have to say. I like it. It looks really good. Doesn't look like it's new, which is obviously important, but it looks like it's sort of worn, has been patched up a little bit, and a little bit of, I think it's cloth on the front, maybe it's duct tape, and it looks a little bit worse for wear. It sounds nice as well. Oh, and actually, you see the shot going off in the distance? I actually have not noticed that before. Maybe that's just a visual representation, but oh, that looks pretty good actually, and it sounds nice. Of course, if you do ADS, you don't see the bullet trail, but you can aim a little bit better. It's a burst weapon, so if I hold in the button, you get a 3-round burst. Not like the AK-47, which is fully automatic. So how do you craft this one? Well, I think you need to find the tactical assault rifle schematic, and reading that allows you then to craft it. So if you use it, you can craft it. Let me do a tactical assault rifle, and the workbench, you then see it requires machine gun parts, steel, duct tape, polymers, and spring. And I believe all this depends on, let's see, it's probably the machine gun skill tree. So let's have a look at that one, which is here. If let me buy a bunch of these ones. See if I can boost this up to get a better quality. Like, oh, I don't have enough points for that. That's all right. And let's do a crafting here. So now I can do quality 5, and of course the parts usage has gone up, but it crafts a much better one. So how does it compare to the AK-47, which obviously has been a game favorite for a lot of people for a long time in 7 Days to Die? So I have here put a bunch of them from quality 1 to 6 with a AK-47 machine gun, and actually interestingly, they renamed the AK-47 into an AK-47 machine gun to sort of signify that it's part of the machine gun tree. The tactical assault rifle, maybe they should have said tactical machine gun. Anyway, so if we then compare it with the equivalent AK-47, which I believe is the tier 1 machine gun, and then you have the tactical assault rifles tier 2, and of course the M60 is the tier 3. So we look at the quality 1 AK-47 compared to the quality 1 TAR, and you'll see the damage goes up, rounds per minute goes up a little bit, range is slightly longer, but durability is lower. And that actually seems to be something that goes along with the rest of the quality levels. More damage, more rounds per minute, not a huge deal, it's about 11% or something. A slightly longer range, but the durability is slightly lower, which makes sense. The AK-47 is a really rugged gun. Here, of course, there is some randomization in there as well, so sometimes, of course, they can differ as well. Interestingly here, the tactical assault rifle has a lower range than the AK-47, maybe because that one, well, it shoots the same ammo though, it's all 7.62, but it does have higher damage. You will see here as well, about 3 extra damage, which is, 5 to 10% depending, and we'll see here an extra 5. So at the quality 6 level versus the AK-47, it does have almost 10% more damage. Magazine size is about the same, slightly faster, slightly more range. That might have actually been a really poor AK-47 quality 6, because you see the range here is 42 versus 59. So, it is a bit random when you spawn them in, or when you craft them, or when you loot them. But overall, the AK-47 is a little bit more rugged, but a little bit less stats in general. So if we do a little bit of a comparison here, so this is the AK-47, just shooting from the hip. And you'll see it sort of moves around it quite a bit actually. If we look at the tactical assault rifle, it does move around a little bit, but not as much as you notice, and because it's a 3-round burst, it sort of keeps on target a little bit easier. It also means that it's a little bit hard to use as an oh shit weapon, because you can, but you have to keep tapping so that you keep getting the fire. With AK-47, obviously you can just hold in the button and run around and empty the magazine. These are also all of the mods that can fit on the tactical assault rifle. And if you're looking at a AK-47, some of the common ones I would actually use would be the drum mag, maybe the reflex sight mod, because again, it's not a long range weapon in general. A red remover and the cripple and all was pretty good. So what would you do with a tactical assault rifle? Well, on the top level here, so the ones that I think are pretty good. You see the magazine extender gives extra. They are not as useful, I think, on the tactical assault rifle as they would be on the AK-47. They're still solid choices, but they're not as critical. Scope is always good. Right now, the reflex mod doesn't seem to work properly on the tactical assault rifle. The 2x and 4x scope does, however. Red remover and cripple are always good. You do have the muzzle brake mod, good. Less recoil. Barrel extender, a little bit more range and damage. Silencer might be useful actually if you're clearing PIs. You want to be a little bit more quiet. Bipod again can be good at aiming down sights. Foregrip, I wouldn't necessarily be using the tactical assault rifle shooting from the hip because it is just a 3-burst mod, so that's not quite what its strength are. And a 4x scope would work. However, at a distance, it seems to lose a little bit of the accuracy in general, so it's not super effective. I would use a rifle instead for that. I mean, as in hunting rifle or the marksman rifle. You could use some of the trigger groups. Obviously, the burst mode doesn't do anything except just give you extra damage by putting it on. Full auto mode, you definitely could. It could be a nice one, but again, if you really want to have a short-range weapon, the AK-47 is probably better. Hunter mode, if you're hunting things, would be good. Laser sight, again, is more of a short-range use. Semi mod, again, you can do that by tap firing. And a weapon flashlight would work if you're exploring at night and you don't have anything else. Helmet light is always better, though. So whereas I would use a sort of an AK-47, sort of a short range, maybe medium range, because again, it's not super good. If you're aiming it down, it works okay. It's got quite a lot of recoil though, so that's not necessarily what it's good for. Now, if you're looking at the tactical assault rifle, I put on a 2x scope here, and it's actually pretty good. You notice it does bounce around just a little bit, but if you just do a little bit of tap fire, it's not too bad. If you do a burst and it's reasonably close up, it's all right. I do think that you see the white bars there, or the whatever they're called, along the side. They do increase a little bit too much, I think, because that basically increases the spread quite considerably. I mean, this is fairly short range, but if I'm even like this medium range, you'll see the white things there. If I just hold in the button and I shoot a burst, which is really what it's for, you see it expands extremely large comparably. It basically goes way beyond what the target is here, which means that you are unlikely to hit more than the first actual first shot. So I do sort of feel that maybe that should be lowered. It should be smaller, because it is meant for as a burst weapon. And again, if you burst even like this and it goes really, really wide, then you're not going to hit anything, and then you're back to just tap firing. Tap firing works really well because you can keep it on the target fairly well, as you can see. And you can do that even depending on the distance. You might not want to do a really long distance. You could do it if I modify. Let me put on the 4x scope here and do a reload. Let's say you were sort of towards the long range. This is how it will work, but if I hold it, you see it really, the white ones, which is really the area that the bullets might hit, they go really wide. So at this range, which is fairly medium, short, medium range, is fairly all right. But as you go beyond that, what you really want to do with the 4x scope, it doesn't really seem to make that much sense. So my preference for this gun would probably be a 2x scope or maybe reflex scope. depending, but I still think they should maybe look at how wide the area is there. It does seem like it's a little bit big when you're doing burst firing as well, which is supposed to be a lot more accurate, but it does bounce around a little bit much. But not just that, the crosshair just widens really large, unfortunately. So could you use this one up close? Of course you could. I mean, the 3 burst is powerful at any range, obviously, but it's not as effective as an AK-47. So, you know, I think that this one works pretty well as a sort of a medium, sometimes a short-range weapon. If you really want a short-range close-up weapon, go for the AK-47 with a red dot sight, because it definitely is a lot smoother to use, and it has a full auto. So if you really need to empty the chambers, empty the magazine, you put on a drum roll, and all of a sudden you have 60 bullets in there. You can take down a whole horde, which is really effective. But at least the new tactical assault rifle, the sound is really good. I really like it. It sounds meaty. It sounds really good, and it feels good. I think just the crosshairs maybe widens a little bit too much, even when you're doing burst firing. But beyond that, I like this weapon. Not really sure whether I would use it over an M60. Maybe. I do love the M60. It's such a wonderful weapon. But that's gonna be it. Hope you enjoyed this short little look at the new tactical assault rifle. I'll catch you again, Survivor.
Special thanks to the great patrons supporting the channel. If you would like to join the vetted community and support these videos, do follow the Patreon link.